Good afternoon. First of all, I'd like to thank Deacon Max and Deacon John for inviting me to be here with you and all the team that put this event together. I am very thankful for that, and I thank you, all of you, too, for allowing me to be here. I'm going to need my glasses, I guess. Okay, oh yeah, I got them here. Okay. All right. Okay. Pope Francis has insisted on the church being poor for the poor. As deacon, I have found different places for the ministry of the word, the liturgy, and the charity, especially when you discover the real relationship between charity and love that goes beyond the borders. It is so powerful that it has changed my life. I'd like to tell you about a little bit of my how I end up becoming a deacon, and how it has been. In my country, in Guatemala, you're allowed to work when you're young. Sometimes it's not that you allow, but you have the need to do it, and you got to do it. So I started working when I was 9 years old. We have to finish the school by going half day working and half day going to school until I got junior high. After that, I was 15 years old, and I was dreaming about knowing about the world, going places and stuff like that. So the only way I can do it was if I study merchant navy, and then I went and studied that. I learned all the machines and all the engines and the ships from top to bottom and from one side to the other. And then I went to study telephony, electricity, even how to manage postal office and all of that stuff. And then I learned the telegraph, because in those years the telegraph was the internet. So for 3 years I learned how to listen and how to send messages and all of that stuff. And when I was about 18 years old, I was ready to go. I had bought my tickets to go to Panama City, because in Panama is where all the big ships stop for the Panama Canal. So that's when you can enroll with them. So I had bought my tickets, and I had everything ready. It was about Christmas time, and all of a sudden I met the most beautiful girl in my life. So bye-bye dreams. We went out for 40 days, and we got married. And that was 43 years ago. Thank you. So after 4 years of married, we decided to, I have started my own business, but it was like 35 years of war, internal war in Guatemala. It was very difficult to do it, to make it. So we decided to come to the United States. And by that time, we have 3 kids already. And so we came, and I remember it was kind of hard for me to find a job, but finally I got one that lasted me for 18 years. I was there for 18 years, but 4 years after I started, we had a problem with immigration. Immigration came to the company, and they knew that there was people working there without any documents. And but the owner of the company, for some reason, he likes me, and he told me that get on the trunk of his car He says, get on the trunk of my car and I'll get you out of here. They won't stop me. And he did. But then I end up with, and he says, he took me home. And then he says, don't come back until I tell you. And you have to move from your apartment because they might come looking for you. So we did it. And all of a sudden I was on the street with no job and no apartment with 3 kids. So we sleep in one night in one friend's house and the other friend. So I said, this is too much. Well, let's go back to Guatemala. So we have to go back to there. And I start again another business over there, trying to see if I can make it. But it was, again, difficult. So my younger brother came to me one day and he says, you know what, there was going to be a retreat. And they have this thing called the Full Gospel Men, what it was, Businessman Fellowship. So when I hear Businessman Fellowship, I said, it's good. And I put all my cards for my business, and then I said, I'm going to see how many business I can get. But I didn't get any business. But I got the best business. I met Jesus Christ. That was the best business I had. So we went to the retreat. They invited us to the retreat. It was 4 days. And on Saturday, it was going to be something special. It was going to be the baptism of the Holy Spirit. And it was good. I mean, there was 60 persons. I mean, 60. My 2 brothers were with me. And it was so good. I mean, they would start praying and everything start getting deeper and deeper. And I see some of them start laughing, some of them start crying, some of them start falling down. And I was looking all of that, and it was like something very special. But I was just a spectator. I didn't feel nothing. I was looking at everybody, and then I was waiting for my turn. And it never happens to me. So then I got kind of mad. And then when everything was down, we went to our rooms and we went to sleep. And even some of the guys that were sleeping with me in the same room, were sharing room, and the dreams, they started going, talking about different languages. They were so happy. And I remember I couldn't sleep. I was by the window, and about 3 o'clock in the morning, I said, am I the bed? Am I the biggest sinner in all of us here? What's going on? And I said, well, that was, for me, too hard to talk to God that way. But I said, if you don't want anything to do with me, I don't want it to do anything with you either. And tomorrow morning, as soon as the sun goes up, I get out of this place. And as soon as it was 7 o'clock in the morning, when I went to talk to the organizer, I said, listen, now I got to go. He said, why? Never anybody went out. Besides, we have only one bus. It was like 2 hours drive up in the mountains. And he said, we have no way to take you there. You have to wait. So I did. I waited until everything was done. And I remember, for some reason, my family knew, their family knew, and everybody was, as the bus stopped, everybody had their house very nice. They have like a lot of things there to welcome them. So they welcomed one of them, and then we took one of my brothers, and then another one, and they took me home. And my home, it was the same thing, but I didn't want that. I was so sad, so mad. I didn't want anything like that. But like a week after, or 2 weeks after, my brother came again. And he says, we're going to have a nice thing at one of these big hotels. They're going to have a breakfast, and it's going to be nice. So I went there one more time, and it was nice. I remember they invite a choir from Florida or from someplace over here. They were singing in English. We were over there in Guatemala, and there was a beautiful lady singing, and it was so beautiful, the whole thing. And then when everything finished, she started praying, and people started making a line. And when she touched them, one falls this way and one falls the other way, and everybody was there feeling the same thing. And I said, this is my chance to feel it. This is going to be my chance. And I got up and I get in line. And as I getting close, I say, which way should I go? This way or this way? You know? And then when I came close to her, she grabbed my head. And she said, she called one of the guys that was the translator. And she said, tell him that God wants him to go and preach the gospel. And I said, she must have the wrong person. God can say that to me. He knows I never, ever touch a Bible. I don't know anything about it. What am I going to do? Go to the park or go to the places and they start saying, repent. You know, I didn't even know how to start it. You know, it was crazy for me. I didn't know what to do. Well, the time went by, and about a year later, we came back here to the United States again, because the business, I can do nothing over there. It was so difficult. So we came back again. I called the guy that gave me a job. He says, no, don't worry, your job is secure. You come today, tomorrow you start working again. So I did. And when I went to sign up my kids for school, one of the teachers asked me if I want to be the choir director for the mass, because they're going to start the Spanish mass in our church. So I said, sure, no problem. That's the way I am. So I said, sure. And then I went to buy my guitar. I didn't know even how to play guitar. But I went and buy the most expensive one. My wife almost killed me. She said, how can you buy a so expensive guitar if you don't even know how to play? I said, otherwise I won't learn. So we got together with some friends and we started the choir. And I did learn. For probably 15 years, we went in the choir. And the first Sunday, it was only us, the choir. So the priest preached literally to the choir, only. But the week after, it was more people, and then more people, and then more people, and all of a sudden, there was a lot of people standing over here, and standing over here, we had to do another mass, and another mass. And now we have 7 masses in a weekend, and the weekend. And then I start getting into a lot of ministries. And after so many things, I got involved in immigration stuff and this stuff and that stuff, and I got so many. I was almost it was nice for me to be close to the priest, because he always asked me, why don't we do this? And I go crazy. I say, why don't we do this? Why don't we do that? And he said, no, it's too much. I remember one day we want to start a procession. And I said, don't worry about it. I put speakers on my truck, and then and he said, are you crazy? I said, no, we're going to do it. And when we see the street full of people, and he thinks that it was going to be too much. And he says, give me more volume, you know, and a lot of things were that way. And finally, I end up signing up for the deacon, the diaconate. And later on, I was able to be ordained. And at the ordination day, when they start singing the litany, and you are in the floor, I start crying. Because I said, why didn't I listen to God 15 years ago? Why I have to wait this long? You know, my life could have been better. But it changed my life. It changed my life in many ways. About 12 years ago, we were celebrating Christmas. And on Christmas Eve, my house was, you know, we have 16 grandkids. So it was like Toy Store. They have toys all over the place. Presents from everybody, you know, everything was so crazy in there. And then we were so happy, and then all of a sudden it came to my mind when I was little, when I never get one present. And then my heart started feeling bad, not for me, but for many people in my country who is happening the same thing. So I told my wife, next year, we're going to do something. Thank you. We're going to do something. So we went, and I asked on the church, in my church, I said, would you be crazy enough like I am? Would you give me one present for one kid? I promise I put it in his hands. And he's not going to know who sent it to him. And you're not going to know who I give it to. But God will know. So I bring a big box and put it in the church. And the next week it was overflowing with toys. I remember I took over 2,000 toys the first time. And we went there, and when we were giving the toys to the kids, they were so happy. In fact, you see that picture there? Those kids and that picture are the kids that their moms, single moms, they have to work, so they take care of them. And we went there and bringing some presents. But it's not just that. We went to the places where they dump garbage, and you can see the beautiful kids' face matching the ground and the garbage place. Your heart bleeds when you see that. And you start thinking where my humanity and my heart has been. You know, when you see that, your heart breaks. When you see people in need, when you see the wounds open, sometimes it makes you think. It reminds me the second Sunday when Jesus was raised. And he went the first time, and the second time one of these apostles were not there. And when he went the second time, he was there. Do you remember who he was? Thomas. And Jesus said, Thomas, come. I put your fingers here. This is another one of my wounds here. He was showing him the open wounds. And that's exactly what you can see. Jesus' wounds, when you see and other people need, when you see that with your own eyes, you can't believe. And those are the open wounds of Jesus Christ and my brother and my sister. It is so hard to see that. And let me tell you, I've seen them before and never feel like I feel now. And the difference is because God, when God calls you to be a deacon, He calls you to be one of His. And you can see with different eyes. And your heart is different. It's not the same. So, not only that, but you see need all over the place. Everywhere you go, you see the needs. When I see people that the food has to become a trash before it comes to their mouth, it's sad. When I see people picking up food for them and for the kids, you start wondering. And some people might say that you're crazy. But I was thinking, it only takes like probably $200 a month to cook a food for them. And they can have a hot plate at least one time. $200 is about $200 in Guatemala money. And that's enough to pay somebody to cook and bring the cook already hot and everything for them. So $200 a month is like about $1,500, a year. I said, I can find people who can help me with it. And we can help not just for 1 year, but for many years. And for the time that we go there, there's a lady that worked and helped my wife in housekeeping. She's a young lady with a single mom with 3 kids. So one day it was raining and my wife took her and drove her home. And when she came back, she came so sad. And she said, you won't believe what I saw. She had probably 8 buckets on the house for all the water that is dripping from the floor, from the roof. And she had like 14 by 14 feet house where they sleep, they eat, everything they do in that little room. And she was broken. And she said, and then I said, why don't we do something about it? We can probably ask people, if they can cooperate with $10 or $25 or $50. All we need is $5,000 because $5,000 Guatemala money will be like $35,000. And with that money, we can build our house. And I said, but let's do it this way. If somebody give us $25, that means we have to come out with the rest, and we don't get the rest of it. And she said, okay, let's do it. Raise about $800, no more than that. And then the miracle happened. I have worked for that company for about 18 years, and then I quit. And then I started my own business about 22 years ago. And one of my customers called me, and he says, you know what, I got a rectifier sitting here. Because the day before I had done a job for him, and it was so small, and I said, I'm not going to charge you for that. Next time we put it in the bill. So the day after, he called me and says, you know what, I got a rectifier here in plastic and everything. You want to take it? I don't have use for it. So I said, yes, I'll take it. The very next day, another customer called me. He says, do you happen to have one spare machine? I need one right away. And he asked for the same machine. I sold it to him for $4,500. Plus the $800, we have exactly the money. So one of my nephews is an architect, and he started doing a house, and today she has, and the 14 by 14, is a little space, she has the kitchen, the dining room, the living room, and 3 bedrooms. And a two-flat house. And then that's exactly what I said. This is not that we are good. This is what God is good. And all He's asking us is to use our hands to do what He wants us to do. God loves people, especially the poor. He loves them so much. You know, it's very, especially when you hear different and see different and act different. After the many times we go in many years, because I remember the first year when we went there with the toys and everything, we have what we call posadas. In Guatemala, before Christmas, 15 days before Christmas, Joseph and Mary knock on the doors and stay one night here and one night here and one night here, and it's a nice event, especially for the kids. So there was like 3 of them, or maybe 4 of them, in different places, in different parts of the city, you know. And I see like 20 kids over here, 20 kids over here, 20 kids over here. So I said, I asked that we can have one at our home. And that night, it was about 150 kids. We couldn't do it inside the house. We had to do it on the street. And it was good that we have 2 big piñatas. We have Santa Claus piñatas like this big. And she cooked food for them. And she had refreshment. And we have surprises for them. And they were so happy. And the first thing they said is, are you coming next year? We promised that we will do it every year. We miss our grandchildren at Christmas time. But we have a lot of the different and beautiful things. So after that, after the many years going back and back again, we see a lot of the needs for people, especially the young, 12 to 15 years. So we decide to start a school for them, for the young entrepreneur, as you call, entrepreneurs or something like that. Entrepreneurs, thank you. And so they can start their own business or at least, have skills or something. And so we start the one school and then another and then another, and we have 5 in Guatemala. We have 1 in El Salvador, and we have 1 in Argentina. And the kids start learning electricity, carpentry, even bakery. They learn how to use those sewing machines and stuff like that. And today, I remember last year we have one of the schools, and there was 40 guys, and I remember I went one day to buy some materials at the electric store, and they say, "How you doing, teacher?" And I said, all of a sudden, I am a teacher. They were buying stuff because they already had jobs. I was so happy for that. I was so happy that they can find a job and start doing something. For next year, I plan to do those street lights. Because you can do it, you can make it. I got everything, and you have to program it, and it will be computerized, so it will never do green here and green here for the cars. It won't happen. So they will probably learn that. And all I want them is to open up their mind. Because don't get me wrong, Guatemala is a beautiful country. Guatemala is so beautiful, and we have so many good people, but so little. In a way, the government don't care that much. The authorities don't care too much. I remember I went to the president's office because he said, "Deacon, something is pushing you behind you. You can't stop it." So I went to the president's office, and they say, no, you cannot just come over here and do that. You have to send him a letter and ask him, And I did. Never had an answer. The biggest problem for the schools, for the kids, is a place to do it. So I thought there is a place in the church. Each church has a place. So we can do that. So I went to the cathedral, and I wanted to talk to the archbishop, but I never had an answer. It reminds me that Jesus didn't have authority to do what he did, and he changed so many things. He changed the world. He didn't have the authority as far as the government authority to do that. And he changed many things. I even went to the mayor at the town, and I said, why don't we do this? And they always said, we have to fill up so many papers and so many things and it never happens. So I started on my own. I said, let's say, that's the only way you can go a little bit farther. But like I said again, I'm not doing it because I am good, because God is good. And he called us deacons to be the face of his goodness, the face of his love and his charity. That's what we are supposed to be. In the Bible, we can see in the book of Acts in number 6, chapter 6, that's where everything starts. Where the poor, especially the widows and the orphans, were neglected. And that's how they start with the 7 deacons. So we are the bridge between the church and the needy and the ones that are neglected. And we can do so much we can do. I went to see if we don't have deacons in Guatemala. I am, like he said, I am the president of the Spanish deacons here in the United States. And we wanted to have one of our getting together over there. And I said we can do it over there, but normally we need deacons to help us to prepare it. We don't have deacons over there, so it was kind of hard. But we did it. And at that time, one of the bishops come to me and said he was invited to give us a talk. And I one time went to Colombia to study deacon's theology, and I had to make know, your stuff that you do before you get your diploma. And he says, can I use it? I mean, you got so much good stuff in here, I wanted to use it. And I said, yes. And on that, I have written that we don't have deacons in Guatemala because of the ignorance in many ways by the bishops, the priests, and the lay people. And I have written there, and he wrote it, and he says, Freddie says this, and he is right. I talked to him after that. He's a cardinal now. And I talked to him, and I said, why don't we do something? Why don't we can start? We need it. We need people that can do what the deacons do. And he says, we don't have money for that. I said, Your Eminence, there's a voluntary, ministry. You don't have to pay us. He says, well, it will be in the United States, not here. We don't know what to do with people when they need something and they're part of our church and what we can do. So that's the reason why we can start it. But anyways, we have like 4 different times when we get together, and now we have the commission for the deacons. It started already, and hopefully someday we might have deacons in Guatemala. When I thought that I was ordained for the Spanish deacons, I wanted to, get more involved into the different cultures between the Spanish people. So that's the reason why I ended up going to Colombia for 2 years to learn a little bit and get together with some other deacons from Chile, from Argentina, from Mexico. And then the whole world opened up for me. I've been going to South America many times, many places. I even went to Italy a couple times. And so about going to know a little bit of the world, it did happen. My dream of learning, of going some places like that, it did happen. And happened with my wife and with me. So God is good with us. And but when I went to Italy for a conference, the deacons were invited because Pope Francis says that we have to go to the peripheria. He knows what peripheria means. I know what peripheria means, but they don't know too much about peripheria mean. Like over here in the United States. Over here, if you don't have nothing, the government help you, so you're not going to be dying, without any food or any clothes or anything like that. The government will be able to help you. Over there, we don't have that. We depend on people of good heart that can help us to do that. So when he says that we have to go to the periphery, I ask the question, what periphery are you talking about? And believe me, I wanted to say this because you don't have to go to Guatemala, you don't have to go to Africa, you don't have to go many places to encounter people with need. We have it in our own church. Sometimes we don't really look at it, but we have it in our own churches. We have people in need. I remember Mother Teresa one time had one of the guys that take the pictures and everything, and he said to her, I wanted to come back someday. I wanted to go back to the United States and bring all this stuff back, and I want to come back and help you and work with you. And she said, don't do that. Do me a favor. Go to the bridges over there, under the bridges, and tell the people that God loves them. You don't have to come back here. Do me a favor. Go over there and tell them that God loves them. We have so many people that need us. I have this is a passage that breaks my heart. Jesus, in the gospel in Matthew 25, we hear, then the king will say to those on his right hand, come you whom my Father has blessed, take as your heritage the kingdom prepared for you since the foundation of the world. For I was hungry, you give me food. I was thirsty, and you give me drink. I was a stranger, and you made me welcome. Lacking clothes, and you clothed me. Sick, and you visit me. And I was in prison, and you came to see me. Then the upright will say him in reply, Lord, when did we see you hungry and feed you, or thirsty and give you drink? When did we see you a stranger and make you welcome, lacking clothes and clothe you? When did we find you sick and in prison and go and see you? And the king will answer, in truth I tell you, insofar as you did this to one of the least of these brothers of mine, you did it to me. We have so much we can do. As deacons, sometimes we kind to believe that we are deacons when we vest an out and put our we dress at the church and we read the Bible and sometimes we preach and we take the incense and the altar and we think that's when we are deacons. But we are deacons 24 hours a day. We are deacons today and forever until eternity. Christ has called us to be deacons in the blood and be what he wants us to be every second of our life. And one thing is so beautiful. When we get ordained, by the grace of the sacrament, we have the grace in us, and our wives receive it, and our family receive it. Sometimes we said that what we want to do, we are also have the sacrament of matrimony. So what are we going to do? To whom we serve? We serve the Lord or we serve our family. But if we become one family, a diaconal family, we don't have that problem because we are in the same boat. We don't have that problem. So we have enough grace. I remember one of my older son, one time when he became 18 years old, he told me, I wanted to join to the military. And I said, you know what, I built a house in Guatemala. If you wanted we can sell the house and I can see how much money we need and you can go to the school. And he says, no, let me do it. I want to do it myself. I want to build my own future. And I said, it's going to be hard. So he told his mom, and of course, she didn't like the idea. It was the war at that time. And he has to go there. And every night, she was dreaming with him. At 3 o'clock, she was calling him, and I didn't know what to do. I said, probably we can go on vacation or something. So I took her to Guatemala so she can forget about it. It didn't work. Every day it was the same thing. She was devastated. We never went apart. I mean, we always went together. But he did. This month he's finally doing his retirement from the military after, I believe, 20 years. He said, I want to give back to the country what the country has given us, the opportunity and the chance. And he always wanted to do, he said, when I grew up, I wanted to be a firefighter or want to be a police officer, or I want to go in the military. And he did 2 of them. Now he's a detective also and a police officer in Houston. And he served in Chicago too as a police officer. So he's about to retire from that too. And he's very young. So we have so many good things in our life that we want to really give back for all that we have. And one of the reasons why we went to Guatemala, my brother Deacon was saying that I was a bird. What is it called? Snowbird. A snowbird. He helps me too, because I am very sensitive to allergies. 2 weeks ago, he got me again, and I said, why now? I wanted to be here, and and not start coughing or anything like that. But by the grace of God, I so far so good. So there is so many things we can do. Here. I've been involved in retreats over here in the United States, and sometimes when I'm in Guatemala, they call me, and I take a plane and come back here for 4 days like 4 times a year. And sometimes there is 50, 60, 40 people. Sometimes they're for women and for men. And even though it's our own Spanish people, you can see how much need is in there. When they get to talk to you, when they start open up their hearts and telling you how much problems they have, your heart breaks. Sometimes I end up crying just to hear what they're suffering. I end up crying so bad because I said, if it touches me inside so deep, it probably touches God's heart. And he probably sometimes cries like I do. Because people don't deserve to suffer that much. And sometimes it's because everything, the need that they have get on the way, and they go far and far and far from God. Sometimes the need that they have don't allow them to be close to God, and they suffering. So even here, many people come from our countries looking for the American dream. and never find it. The American dream is just a name. We all have dreams. We all want to have our family, you know, we all want to give them the best we can. But sometimes it's so hard. I wanted to show you a couple of pictures here with the help of my... This is when I happened to be in Colombia, and I met, all of them are deacons from South America. You can see the next picture. That's the classes that we were receiving. Another one, please. And part of what we did over there. And one more. And this is where, when we go back in Guatemala, for the kids, you see those, they are the Mayan people. They live up on the mountains. And like I said, sometimes they never dream to have a toy in their hands, especially people here with good heart give us a big toys. A $20 toys make the dream come true for them. Another picture. And they prone to give you a hug. They prone to say thank you, and that is something that is very rewarding for you. To have that is something that goes beyond you. And like I said, those are places up on the mountains. When you call one of them, like a dozen of them come out after him. You know, I don't know where they at, but when you call one, and they start coming out, I don't know from where. They have other places where on December 12th for Guadalupe, for the Virgin of Guadalupe, they make a little altars in the front of the house, and all they want is for you to come and bless them. Because by blessing that, you're blessing their house and their families. So we go there and do that in the little villages. And when I get there, I get the chance to be the captain of the military base over there. And, you know, it breaks my heart that they don't have a priest that can take care of them. So when I'm there, I don't want to come back because I think all of them represent my son when I was there. So it was very it really touched my heart. People is always looking for a blessing, and you have the chance. Now that I had that thing in my hand, I remember a bishop who was doing the blessing, and he got the microphone and put it in the, to bless it. Those are the little kids up on the mountains, which we go with the toys. One more. These are, in order for us to take more toys over there, my wife has to take it apart. And when you get there, she starts wrapping again so we can have more toys. Because they charge you $300 for the boxes to send it over there. But $300 for me is nothing because I got so many toys inside. It cost me more than that. And the quality of the toys is different. This is something that really breaks my heart. Like as I said, you can see on the little kid's face. When you say that, you say, this cannot happen. This cannot be real. But it is. One more. Thank you. That's another picture for the people there. This is another one up on the mountain. This is with the military. They always, sometimes when they have a big event, they call me so we can come and bless what all the things that they have to do. So I have to go there. This is more toys given for the kids, and I wanted to go to the other one. One more. This is something that on one Christmas last year we want the people on the little town to have a Christmas together and have dinner. So we asked them what they need. So we provide. Sorry, we provide all the food, but we fail to bring tables and chairs. I was so, when I saw the picture they sent me, I felt so bad because we give them the food, but we failed to provide with tables and stuff like that. So they were, they were eating right on the floor. But they were getting, together for Christmas time, and there was the Christmas dinner for them. But like I said, it could have been better. The other one is for the kids. They're learning bakery, and some other kids are learning other stuff, how to do sewing and this is a sign of you have to start working for the family, even if you that young. So I have a couple videos that I want to show it to you. I think they're there. This one, for example, and I want to talk about it a little bit. It was the Spanish news over there in Chicago. Was somehow, it doesn't have too much volume. The other one will have. We were putting all the toys together, and we were sending over there. I got one day I got a phone call on the radio station if I wanted to do an interview, and they started asking me that, and it started, all the news came to my house, and there was the Spanish news, but also the English news came to my house, and the archdiocese wanted to see what we did, and so I think the other one will be more explicit. If you want to switch to the other one, which is the same thing. Yeah, I think they will have value. No, it doesn't go.
About 2,000 toys. I wish I can have tons of them. I wish and that is something very special. We believe in our heart that we all deserve the same thing. We all we all children of God. There is no difference. We all deserve to have something, and it breaks our heart that some people because the parents don't have enough money. This either they buy a toy for them and sacrifice one meal or something a day or something. They just can't afford to buy any toys. So that's the reason why we started all that. Deep in my heart, I know there is a lot of people out there with good heart. They want to share a little bit of love to somebody in need. When I come back from there, I always go to the church and say, I bring back a lot of hugs for you. I don't deserve it. You deserve it because you are the ones that give us the present to us. I said that this is an adventure of love, an adventure of hope, an adventure of sharing with others and let them know that somebody, somewhere, cares for them, that loves them, even though they don't know them.
Please click.
So when you go there, there are places that are very, very difficult to get. There is one place they call Three Pines, and in Spanish it's called Tres Pinos. It's up there right on the mountains. To get there, you have to have a four-wheel drive truck. And when you get to the bottom of the mountains, you put your foot in there, you better not take it out. All the way up, it's about 15 kilometers. It was going like this. And when you get there, people hide from you because they never come down, because it's so hard to come down and to go back. Sometimes people come down and they have to wait from 10 o'clock or 8 o'clock in the morning. They have to wait either somebody comes with car or something by any chance, or they have to wait until the sun goes down because it's so hot and it's so hard to get up there. For them, it's very, very difficult to do that. And I remember one time I see a lady, she probably was 85 years old, and I opened up the door of the truck, and I said, please come inside. And she said, no, I go in the back. I said, no, it's going to be difficult for you. No, don't worry. She jumped like a young lady. She jumped right on the back of the truck, and she refused to sit on the thing. She was going on the edge, and we went up there, and like I said, since I fall in love for the people since the first time I went there. I remember I had to celebrate the liturgy over there. So the first time we did it around a tree. And then I said, I am very lucky deacon because I had a chance to be on the nicest altars that you ever seen. And I have to be around the tree doing with them. And when you give them the Eucharist, they put their hands, and you should see their hands. They are rough, and they are broken all over the place for the job that they do. But when they take it and put it in their mouth, they know who they bring it in their mouth. And they are so hungry of God. There is something very special when you see that. And people need it so bad. And we don't have enough priests over there to do that. We don't have deacons. It's hard. You know, the priest sometimes goes there, and if it rains and he's on the other side, the river start growing, start overflowing. He had to call somebody to get him. And it's very difficult. When I go there, I don't mind. I don't mind to go everywhere. I remember one time when we came to the hospital, because my wife said, why don't we do this? You know, over here, when you have a baby, and so the people come to get you at the hospital, they give you clothes. They bring you clothes that are this big for the baby, but it's good. You have a car seat, and you have so many things. Over there, you don't have that. Over there, they have to say, okay, you done. They put something with the kids, and away they go. So my wife said, why don't we buy clothes for the babies? And when we go there one time to the hospital and give it to them. So we did it one time. Something special happens. She gave it to all the moms that were there, and there was one of them that didn't want anything. And then she came to the nurse and asked her what happened. And she said, I don't know, but she's acting crazy. So I thought that it was because there was something in the baby's throat. So I said, you know what? Why don't we go out of the hospital? There is a private hospital over here, and we take him there. I pay for it. So she agreed, and we took the baby, and before we know, she was gone. And he leave us the baby. So we didn't know what was going on. But then my wife said, I'm going to say that I'm the mom. So she get into the bed and everything. The doctor came in and said, no, you're not the mom. Get out of there. And then we have to tell him. We don't know what. And then he said, it's your problem, another word. So we took the baby home, and we have the baby for 2 weeks trying to see what we can do with him. If we can adopt him or what we can do. And we couldn't do nothing. All we hear is from other people to say, if you don't do something with him, they're going to bring you to jail. They're going to put you in jail for that because they think that you steal them. And we don't know what to do. So we find somebody. We could do something. We can go and say this our kid and do all the paperwork and everything, and it will be fine. But we had to come back here. We couldn't do it. So we find a family that do it. Last year we met the boy. He's about 14 years old. And he wants to see his padrino because I baptized him that day. And he's grown. And then later we find out that the lady, she was married, but her husband was here. And she had 3 other kids. And if he finds out that he's going to have another baby, it will be the end of their family. So he wants to get rid of the kid. And we see so many other things. So many other things that break your heart. We find a little baby that it was this little. And they say they found him in the garbage. And he was in the hospital because he's still alive like a day after. And everybody wants him, but you cannot have him that easy. There's so many things that if you go here, you find something. If you go there, you find something. Everywhere you go, you see many things. So it's hard to be a deacon sometimes. Because you cannot overlook all this stuff. Like I say, when you see people's womb open like Jesus Christ's womb, you can help to feel that you got to do something. And you can only do something when those wombs become your wombs, when that suffering becomes your suffering, and then you say, we got to do something about it. And that's the only way you can do something about it. So I want to end up by reading you John 15:14. You are my friends if you do what I command you. Shall no longer call you my servants, because a servant doesn't know what the master business. I call you my friends because I have made you known you everything I have learned from my Father. You did not choose me. No, I choose you. And I commissioned you to go out and bear fruit fruit that will last. So the Father will give you anything you ask in my name. May God bless you.